Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, our math world. Today the topic we are going to learn is integers. From integers, today we will learn how to do multiplication of integers. This is grade 7 topic. So let's get started and let's learn how to multiply integers. So first of all, let's learn how to multiply a positive number, a positive integer and a negative integer. Let's take two numbers, 2 and 3. So let's take positive 2 and let's take negative 3. So let's see how to multiply a positive integer times negative integer. So here 2 times 3 is equal to negative 3 times 2. We all know this. So now 2 times negative 3 is nothing, but we all know multiplication is nothing but a repeated addition. So that is nothing but 2 times negative 3 is nothing but we have to add negative 3 to itself twice. So that is nothing but negative 3 minus plus and minus becomes negative. So it will be negative 3 minus 3. That is nothing but it's equal to negative 6, because when there are two negatives we will add both of them and we'll keep a negative sign over here. So negative 3 minus 3 is equal to negative 6. So what we are getting when we are multiplying 2 times negative 3, we are getting negative 6. That is nothing but, if you observe, what is 2 times 3? 2 times 3 is nothing but positive 6. So when you multiply 2 times negative 3, you are getting the negative of 2 times 3, right? That is nothing but, here what is negative of 2 times 3? Negative 6. So this is nothing but 2 times negative 3 is equal to negative of 2 times 3. Am I right? Let's again check this. 2 times negative 3 is nothing but what we got when we multiply 2 times negative 3? We got negative 6, and 2 times 3 is nothing but 6 and a negative 6 again. So 2 times negative 3 is nothing but negative of 2 times 3. This we can represent as a times negative b is nothing but negative of a times b. So what we can conclude from here is, when a positive integer is multiplied by a negative integer, the result is always a negative number. See, here you are multiplying a positive integer with a negative integer, and always when you multiply a positive and a negative number together, the answer we are getting is always a negative number. So this is how we multiply a positive and negative integers, and when we multiply a positive and negative integers, the answer we always get is negative. Let's take some example. Let's do 5 times negative 6. What we will get? We'll get, first of all, how we have to do? First of all, we have to just multiply 5 times 6. What is 5 times 6? 30. So the number we get is negative or positive. We get a negative 30. So a positive integer times negative integer will always give you a negative product. So this is about multiplication of a positive integer and a negative integer. Now we will look how to find what we will get when we multiply a negative integer times a positive integer. Let's look at it. Now we are taking a negative integer times a positive integer. Let's see what we will get. So first of all, to understand this, first of all let's complete a pattern. Okay, so first let's multiply what is 2 times 3. What is 2 times 3? It is 6. What is 1 times 3? 1 times 3 is nothing but we have to take away 6 minus 3. So 1 times 3 is nothing but a 3 again, right? So now what is 0 times 3? 0 times 3 is nothing but again you have to take away 3 minus, again we have to 0 times 3 is nothing but again you have to take away 3 from 3, which is nothing but a 0. So now what is negative 1 times 3? Negative 1 times 3 is nothing but you have to take away 3 from 0. When you take away 3 from 0, what you will get? You will get a negative 3. In the same way, when you do negative 2 times 3, what you will do? You will do negative 3 minus again a 3. We will take away 3 when you go backward, and when we go on adding 3 to 3 when we move forward. So negative 2 times 3, we have to subtract 3 from negative 3, which is nothing but a negative 6, right? So here also when you multiply a negative integer and a positive integer, what we are getting? We are getting a negative 6, which is nothing but negative of 2 times 3, which is nothing but again negative 6. So how can we mention it? Negative a times b is nothing but negative a times b. From the previous one, what we have learnt? Positive integer times negative integer also equal to negative of the product of those two numbers, right? So from both these things, what we can conclude is always when you multiply a negative integer and a positive integer, irrespective of their order, whether the negative integer can be the first one or it can be the later one. So when you multiply a positive integer and a negative integer, the result you always get is negative, right? So this is how we will multiply integers. One among them is negative and the other one is positive. Now we will learn how to multiply two negative integers. We already know how to multiply two positive. What happens when you multiply two positive integers, right? We'll get a positive 6. We all know this. Now we'll see what happens when we multiply two negative integers. Let's take negative 2 and negative 3 over here. So here also let's start from 1 times 3. What is 1 times 3? We all know 1 times 3 is 3. What is 0 times 3? 0 times 3 is nothing but, sorry, here we are considering a negative number, right? Negative integer. So 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. 0 times negative 3 is nothing but negative 3 minus, we are multiplying it with a negative number. So it will be again a negative 3. So we all know that negative and negative is always equal to positive. So negative 3 minus a negative 3 gives you negative 3 plus 3, which is nothing but a 0. So 0 times negative 3 is a 0. Now what is 1 times negative 1 times negative 3? That means you have to subtract 0 minus a negative 3, which is nothing but 0 plus 3, that is nothing but a 3. See what's happening here. When you are multiplying two negative integers, we are getting the positive product, right? Let's check with negative 2 times negative 3 now. So we have to do 3 minus negative 3. We have to subtract a negative 3 from the previous product. That is nothing but just taking away when we are moving back. When we move forward, we go on doing the repeated addition. When we are moving backward, we'll do repeated subtraction. So negative 3 minus negative 3 is nothing but 3 plus 3, which is nothing but 6. So when you are multiplying a negative integers, two negative integers, the result you are getting is a positive integer, which is nothing but 2 times 3, right? So when you have to multiply two negative integers, you have to just write the product of the numbers, direct product of the numbers. Here the numbers are 2 and 3, and the product of 2 and 3 is nothing but 6. So what we can conclude from over here is, when you multiply negative a times negative b is nothing but a times b. So when you multiply two negative integers, the result is always positive of the product. So what we can say is, always the product of two negative integers will give you a positive integer. This is how we will multiply the integers. Let's summarize what we have learned. We have learned today, okay? So first of all, let's start with positive times negative integer. When you multiply positive integer to a negative integer, we always get the negative of a times b. And when you multiply a negative integer times positive integer, the result we get is the same negative of the product. When you multiply two negative integers, the product we get is a positive of the product. So this is how we will multiply the integers. Let's take some examples. For example, we are supposed to multiply 5 times negative 5. What is 5 times negative 5? It is nothing but negative of 5 times 5, which is nothing but negative of 25. What is negative 5 times 5? Here the first integer is negative. What is negative 5 times 5? It's again the same negative of, it's again the same negative of 5 times 5. Negative of 5 times 5, which is nothing but again negative 25. When we multiply negative 5 times negative 5, that is multiplying two negative integers, always gives you the positive product, that is nothing but 5 times 5, which is nothing but positive 25. And we already know, when we multiply two positive integers, the result we get is 25. So what we can learn from over here is, let's take another example. Let's take 4 times negative 2. It's nothing but negative product of 4 and 2. What is product of 4 and 2? 8. So it's negative 8. And when it is negative 4 times 2, we have to just look at the numbers. What is 4 times 2? 8. Since it is negative times positive, the product we will get is always negative. For example, if it is negative 4 times negative 2, that is nothing but positive integer times negative integer times negative integer. The result we get is always positive. And when we multiply two positive integers, we all know very well. We are very familiar with two positive integers. When we multiply, right, we get the result as positive always. So this is how we will multiply integers. So when we are multiplying two integers, keep two things in mind. When one of them is negative, we'll get a negative of the product. When both are negative, then we'll get positive of the product. This is all you have to remember, and this is the way we will multiply the integers. So this is all about today's topic, multiplying integers, multiplication of integers. Hope you all understood well. Thank you so much for watching the video, and please do subscribe the video. Bye bye.